a world where everyone has something to say about your life, your choices, and your path, it's easy to feel like you're drowning in the noise. The opinions, the judgments, the unsolicited advice, it can all weigh you down. But what if you could break free from it all? What if you could live a life where nothing, absolutely nothing, could shake your peace? Imagine being so rooted in your own truth that insults, opinions, and criticisms simply bounce off you like they were never there. That's the power of mastering the art of not caring. This isn't just a simple mindset shift, it's a transformation. And today, we're diving into 7 transformative lessons that will help you embrace this freedom, reclaim your peace, and unlock the incredible power that comes from letting go of the need for approval. Are you ready to stop being affected by everything around you and start living life on your own terms? Let's begin. Lesson 1. Realize that people will always talk. Let's start by acknowledging a simple truth. People will always talk. No matter who you are or what you do, there will always be someone with something to say about you. Whether it's gossip, criticism, or praise, people's opinions will always flow in and out like a river, constant and unpredictable. In Buddhism, we are taught that attaching our sense of self-worth to what others think of us is a path to suffering. It can leave us feeling insecure, frustrated, or even angry. We might constantly find ourselves questioning, "Am I good enough?" or "What will they think?" But the truth is, no matter how hard you try, someone will always have something negative or positive to say about you, and that's okay. Imagine how much energy we waste when we get caught up in the opinions of others. We spend so much time wondering if we're being judged, if we fit into someone else's standards, or if we're living up to their expectations. This is the key. None of this matters when it comes to your path. The only opinion that truly matters is your own. The only standard you need to measure yourself by is the one you set for yourself. So why waste time and energy on things that don't align with your true self and your purpose in life? People will always talk, but that doesn't have to dictate your journey. In Buddhism, we learn to cultivate a sense of inner peace and strength that is independent of external validation. When you let go of caring about others' opinions, you free yourself from their control. You reclaim your energy and focus on what truly matters: your growth, your peace, and your purpose. Let them talk. Whether they are praising or criticizing, their words don't change who you are, nor do they determine your worth. You are the one who defines yourself. So let go of that weight, keep your focus, and continue walking your path forward with confidence and clarity. Lesson 2. Understand that rejection doesn't define you. Rejection is something we all face at some point in life, whether it's in our personal relationships, career, or goals. But here's an important realization. Rejection doesn't define you. Too often we take rejection personally, thinking it means something is wrong with us or that we are unworthy. But in Buddhism, we are reminded that rejection is just a moment in time, nothing more. It's not a reflection of your value or who you are as a person. It's simply an outcome, a circumstance, and it can be changed or corrected in the future. We all have dreams, desires, and things we want to achieve. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, things don't go as planned. A job opportunity might fall through, a relationship may end, or we might not get the approval we were hoping for. In these moments, it's easy to feel like a failure. It's easy to let that rejection affect how we see ourselves. But remember, just because someone or something rejects you doesn't mean you're any less of a person. Rejection is not the end of the story. It's only a chapter. Buddhism teaches us the importance of resilience and the ability to rise above challenges. Every time we face rejection, we have an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of defining yourself by the rejection, look at it as a stepping stone on your journey, Use it as a chance to reflect, improve, and keep moving forward. Rejection doesn't mean you're not worthy. It simply means the opportunity or situation wasn't right for you at that moment in time. And that's okay. When you stop internalizing rejection, you free yourself from the weight of self-doubt and insecurity. You realize that your worth is not dependent on other people's approval or any single outcome. You are whole, complete, and valuable, no matter what anyone else thinks or says. So embrace rejection, learn from it, and remember, it's just a temporary moment. It doesn't define you, and it certainly doesn't stop you from achieving the things that are meant for you. Lesson 3. Embrace detachment from outcomes. One of the most powerful lessons we can learn in life is the art of detachment from outcomes. We live in a world where we are constantly focused on results, whether it's achieving a certain goal, receiving validation, or gaining approval from others. From the moment we wake up, we set expectations for ourselves, and often for others. We want our actions to lead to specific outcomes, and when things don't go as planned, we feel frustrated, disappointed, or even defeated. But in Buddhism, we learn a liberating truth. Detachment from outcomes is the key to true peace and freedom. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you poured your heart and soul into something, whether it's a project, a relationship, or a dream, only to be let down when the outcome didn't match your expectations? That sense of disappointment, that feeling of being let down, is often caused by our attachment to the idea of a specific result. We are so focused on the end goal that we forget to enjoy the journey and the learning process along the way. Buddhism teaches us that when we attach our happiness to specific outcomes, we create suffering for ourselves. We can't control everything, and often life has its own plans for us. The truth is, we can give our best effort and still not achieve the outcome we want. But that doesn't make us failures, and it doesn't mean we should stop trying. What it means is that we are not meant to control everything. Life is full of uncertainty, and that is what makes it beautiful. When we release our attachment to specific results, we open ourselves up to a more peaceful, fulfilling experience. Detachment doesn't mean we stop caring about our goals or stop working toward them. It simply means that we stop letting the outcome define our sense of self-worth or happiness. When we are detached from the result, we can focus on what we have control over, the effort we put in, the lessons we learn, and the growth we experience. We can give our all without the pressure of needing a certain result to feel validated. For example, when we practice detachment in a relationship, we stop expecting someone to behave a certain way to meet our needs. Instead, we focus on being present, enjoying the connection, and embracing the moments we share. When we practice detachment in our career, we focus on doing our best work, learning new skills, and growing, without obsessing over promotions or accolades. The beauty of detachment is that it frees us from the constant cycle of disappointment and allows us to find joy in the process itself. In Buddhism, the concept of non-attachment is rooted in the understanding that nothing is permanent. Our circumstances, our emotions, and even our successes are all temporary. When we let go of attachment to outcomes, we cultivate a deeper sense of peace. We can trust that whatever happens, whether we achieve our goals or not, we will still be okay. We are still worthy. We are still valuable. So, let go of the pressure to control everything. Embrace the uncertainty of life, knowing that the journey itself is just as important, if not more so, than the destination. When you stop fixating on the outcome, you create space for greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. You can put your best effort forward and trust that life will unfold as it should. In the end, the only thing that truly matters is how you live each moment, not the outcome. So, embrace detachment and find peace in the process. Lesson 4. Silence is your greatest weapon. In a world filled with constant noise, whether it's the chatter of social media, the hum of busy streets, or the endless stream of thoughts in our minds, it can be hard to find moments of true peace and clarity. Yet, in Buddhism, silence is considered one of the most powerful tools we can cultivate. It's not just the absence of sound, but a profound state of being that can transform your life. Silence is your greatest weapon because it allows you to step away from the chaos and reconnect with your inner peace. When we talk about silence, we are not just referring to the physical absence of noise. Silence, in a deeper sense, means a mental and emotional stillness, a place where you can hear your own thoughts without the interference of outside distractions. In today's world, it's easy to become overwhelmed by external stimuli. We're constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and demands. This external noise often drowns out our inner voice, the voice of wisdom, clarity, and intuition. But when you embrace silence, you create space for this inner wisdom to emerge. Buddhism teaches us that the mind, when left unchecked, can become a storm of restless thoughts, desires, and worries. We become so wrapped up in what's happening around us and in our minds that we lose touch with our true selves. Silence is the antidote to this chaos. When we step into silence, we step out of the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions, creating an opportunity for stillness. In this stillness, we can find clarity, gain perspective, and feel a deep sense of peace that no external noise can take away. One of the most powerful aspects of silence is that it gives us the ability to observe rather than react. In many situations, when we are confronted with challenges or conflicts, our initial instinct is to react, whether it's with anger, frustration, or defensiveness. But when we embrace silence, we create a space between stimulus and response. In this space, we can choose how we want to respond, rather than letting our emotions control us. This pause is where our true power lies. It's where we find the freedom to act from a place of calm, clarity, and intention, rather than from a place of reactionary impulse. Moreover, silence can serve as a shield against negativity. When we stop speaking, stop reacting, and stop engaging in unnecessary debates or arguments, we create a boundary between ourselves and the toxic energy around us. People may try to provoke you, criticize you, or drag you into drama, but when you remain silent, you take away their power. Silence becomes a force field that protects your peace and shields you from the distractions of the world. In relationships, silence is equally powerful. It doesn't mean withdrawing or being cold, but it means choosing to listen deeply and respond thoughtfully. When we listen in silence, we allow the other person to express themselves fully, without interrupting or forming responses in our minds while they're speaking. This kind of silence fosters deeper understanding and connection. It's not about saying less, but about choosing to speak when the time is right and when your words can truly make a difference. On a spiritual level, silence is essential for meditation and mindfulness practices. In these moments of quiet, we reconnect with the present moment, shedding the layers of distraction and stress that build up throughout our daily lives. It's in these moments of silence that we are able to experience the full depth of our being, to find peace in the stillness, and to reconnect with our true nature. When we practice silence, we also create room for self-reflection. In the quiet, we can look inward and examine our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment. It's a chance to be honest with ourselves and ask the important questions. What do I really want? What am I afraid of? What is truly important to me? These moments of introspection, born from silence, help us align with our purpose and make more conscious decisions moving forward. Silence is not just about withdrawing from the world. It's about embracing a deeper connection with yourself and with life. It is the space where you can truly hear your own thoughts, listen to your inner wisdom, and understand the world around you without the noise of distraction. It's the tool that helps you stay grounded, calm, and focused on what truly matters. So, in a world full of noise and chaos, remember that silence is your greatest weapon. It's the key to mastering your emotions, protecting your peace, and finding clarity in the midst of confusion. In every moment, take a breath, step back, and embrace the power of silence. In doing so, you will discover a profound sense of inner strength and peace that cannot be shaken by the world around you. Lesson 5. The only approval you need is your own. In our fast-paced, constantly connected world, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others, whether it's validation from friends, family, colleagues, or even strangers on social media. Many of us spend a significant amount of time and energy trying to meet the expectations of others. We chase after likes, comments, and praise, believing that they will fulfill us or make us feel worthy. But what if I told you that the only approval you truly need is your own? Buddhism teaches us the profound truth that our self-worth is not dependent on external validation. It's easy to tie our sense of value to how others see us or how much praise we receive. However, this kind of validation is fleeting and unreliable. No matter how much praise or recognition we get from the outside world, it will never fill the void if we do not already have a strong sense of self-worth within. If we rely on the opinions of others to define who we are at the mercy of their judgment. And that's a dangerous place to be because people's opinions are constantly changing. What one person values, another may not, and this inconsistency can leave us feeling uncertain and lost. Buddhism teaches us that true peace comes from within. The only approval that matters is the approval you give yourself. When you learn to validate yourself, you stop seeking approval from others. This shift is incredibly empowering. You no longer rely on external sources of validation to feel good about who you are. You begin to recognize your own worth, regardless of how others perceive you or what they think about your choices. This is the essence of self-love and self-respect. It's the recognition that you are enough just as you are, and you don't need anyone's permission to be your true self. One of the most liberating aspects of this lesson is the freedom it brings. When you stop seeking approval, you start living for yourself. You become free from the pressure of trying to please everyone around you. You begin to make decisions that are in alignment with your values, your passions, and your purpose. Not because you want others to like you, but because it's what feels right for you. This doesn't mean that you ignore feedback or that you don't consider the feelings of others. It simply means that you do not rely on others' approval to dictate your worth or your actions. In many ways, seeking approval from others is a form of attachment. You become attached to the idea that you need others to see you a certain way in order to feel validated. Buddhism teaches us that attachment, in any form, leads to suffering. By freeing yourself from the need for external approval, you cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace. You no longer rely on others to determine your value. You already know who you are and what you stand for. This lesson also applies to our relationships. When you stop seeking approval, you stop trying to fit into someone else's mold. You begin to show up as your authentic self, without the fear of being judged or criticized, and this, in turn, allows others to be more authentic with you as well. True, meaningful connections are formed when both parties feel free to express themselves without the pressure of seeking approval. In relationships, you can still be considerate of others' feelings, but you no longer need to mold yourself to meet their expectations. You can be yourself, and that's enough. Another powerful aspect of this lesson is the importance of trusting your own judgment. How many times have you doubted your own decisions because you were waiting for someone else to tell you it was okay? When you validate yourself, you trust your intuition, your inner wisdom, and your experiences. You make decisions that are aligned with your purpose, knowing that you are capable of making choices that are best for you. This kind of self-trust is empowering because it takes the burden of seeking approval off your shoulders and puts the power back where it belongs, with you. Living without the constant need for approval is not an overnight process. It takes time, self-awareness, and practice. But every step you take toward validating yourself brings you closer to true inner peace and freedom. It's about slowly shedding the layers of people-pleasing and embracing who you really are without fear or doubt. It's about choosing to honor your own voice and trust your own path. So from this moment forward, remember this truth. The only approval you need is your own. You are worthy, you are enough, and you don't need anyone else's validation to know that. When you start living for yourself, everything else falls into place. You will discover a sense of peace and fulfillment that no external approval can ever provide. You are the author of your own story, and the only person who needs to believe in you is you. Lesson 6. Recognize that life is too short to hold grudges. In life, we are bound to face challenges, disappointments, and conflicts. These moments can be painful, and at times they leave us feeling hurt or betrayed. We might feel that the people who wronged us deserve to be punished, or we might carry resentment, holding on to the wounds that were inflicted upon us. But in Buddhism, we are taught a powerful and liberating truth. Life is too short to hold grudges. Holding on to anger and resentment only harms us in the long run, and it prevents us from experiencing the peace and freedom that we deserve. When we hold grudges, we allow past hurts to continue to control our emotions, our thoughts, and our actions. We are continuously tied to the past, allowing the wrongdoings of others to dictate how we feel in the present. This attachment to past grievances creates a burden that weighs us down emotionally and mentally. The truth is, by holding on to resentment, we are not punishing the person who wronged us. We are only hurting ourselves. The anger, bitterness, and frustration that we feel when we hold a grudge only poison our own peace of mind. The other person may have long since moved on, but we continue to carry the weight of those feelings, keeping ourselves trapped in a cycle of negativity. Buddhism teaches us that life is fleeting and every moment is precious. Holding on to grudges takes up valuable time and energy that could be better spent on things that nurture our well-being and growth. When we cling to anger or resentment, we are essentially allowing the past to define our present and our future. By choosing to hold on to grudges, we lose out on the opportunity to fully embrace the beauty and joy of the present moment. We allow negative emotions to cloud our minds and hearts, preventing us from experiencing true happiness and inner peace. But when we let go of grudges, we free ourselves from the grip of the past. We release ourselves from the chains of anger, hurt, and disappointment, allowing ourselves to move forward in life with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Forgiveness does not mean that we condone the actions of others, nor does it mean that we forget what happened. It simply means that we choose to release the hold that anger and resentment have on us, understanding that they no longer serve us. When we forgive, we create space for healing, growth, and peace. We allow ourselves to let go of the emotional baggage that we've been carrying, which can be incredibly liberating. By releasing grudges, we take back control of our emotional well-being and choose to live in the present, rather than being shackled by the past. This act of forgiveness is not just for the person who wronged us. It's for our own peace and happiness. It's an act of self-compassion and self-liberation. In Buddhism, the practice of metta, loving-kindness meditation, is often used to cultivate a heart of forgiveness. Through this practice, we learn to send love and goodwill to ourselves and others, even those who may have hurt us. It's a way of letting go of anger and resentment by consciously choosing to replace negative emotions with compassion and understanding. This process doesn't happen overnight, but with patience and practice, we can begin to shift our mindset from one of holding grudges to one of forgiveness and compassion. Letting go of grudges also allows us to improve our relationships with others. When we forgive, we break the cycle of conflict and bitterness, opening the door for healing and reconciliation. By choosing not to hold on to past wrongs, we create space for more positive interactions and deeper connections with those around us. This doesn't mean that we allow ourselves to be mistreated or that we ignore harmful behavior, but it does mean that we don't allow resentment to dictate our relationships. We can set healthy boundaries, but we don't need to hold on to grudges in order to protect ourselves. Furthermore, life is too short to allow the actions of others to steal our peace. Every moment spent holding on to a grudge is a moment lost in anger, pain, and negativity. Why waste our precious time dwelling on the past when we could be investing in our personal growth, happiness, and the relationships that bring us joy? Life is too short to carry the weight of resentment. Every day is an opportunity to start anew, to heal, and to move forward with a lighter heart. By recognizing that life is too short to hold grudges, we begin to see that forgiveness is not a gift we give to others, but a gift we give to ourselves. It is a powerful tool that allows us to reclaim our peace, our happiness, and our freedom. Let go of the past, forgive those who have hurt you, and allow yourself to experience the liberation that comes with emotional release. When you do, you will find that your heart becomes lighter, your mind clearer, and your life richer with joy and possibility. So take a deep breath and ask yourself, what grudges are you holding on to that no longer serve you? Are you ready to let them go and make room for peace, happiness, and growth? The choice is yours. Let go and feel the freedom of living without the burden of resentment. Lesson 7. Focus on what you can control. One of the most empowering lessons we can learn in life is to focus on what we can control. In a world full of uncertainty, distractions, and external pressures, it's easy to become overwhelmed by all the things that are beyond our control. We often spend countless hours worrying about things like other people's actions, the future, or situations that are out of our hands. These worries take up valuable mental energy, leading us to feel anxious, stressed, and helpless. But the truth is, we cannot control everything, no matter how much we try. What we can control, however, is how we respond to life's challenges, how we manage our thoughts, and how we choose to live in each moment. Buddhism teaches us the importance of embracing the present moment and focusing on what is within our control. The reality is that much of life is unpredictable. We can't control the weather, other people's decisions, or how circumstances unfold. What we can control is how we choose to react to these external forces. We have the power to decide how we respond to situations, to other people, and to the challenges that come our way. This understanding is incredibly liberating because it means that we are not powerless. We have the ability to shape our own experience by choosing where we place our energy and focus. So, how can we apply this principle in our daily lives? The first step is to become aware of what we are spending our time and energy on. Ask yourself, what are you worrying about right now? Are you spending time thinking about things you cannot change or control? Are you letting outside influences determine your peace of mind? Recognizing what is beyond your control is the first step in letting go of unnecessary stress. Once you identify the things you cannot control, let go of them. Release them from your mind, knowing that they do not deserve your attention or energy. By freeing yourself from worrying about the uncontrollable, you make space to focus on the things that truly matter. One of the key things we can control is our thoughts. In Buddhism, it's taught that our thoughts create our reality. If we allow negative or fearful thoughts to dominate our minds, we begin to experience more fear, anxiety, and negativity in our lives. On the other hand, when we choose to focus on positive, constructive thoughts, thoughts that empower us and move us forward, we change our internal experience. It's important to recognize that while we may not be able to control the thoughts that pop into our minds, we do have control over how much attention we give them. We can choose to let go of negative thoughts and replace them with more peaceful, empowering ones. By training our minds to focus on what is helpful and beneficial, we reclaim our power and our peace. Another thing we can control is our actions. We may not be able to control how others behave or how life unfolds, but we can always control how we choose to act. We have the power to decide how we show up in the world, how we treat others, and what we do in any given moment. This is incredibly powerful. Instead of getting bogged down by things that are out of our hands, we can focus on making conscious, deliberate choices about how we live our lives. When we focus on acting with integrity, kindness, and compassion, we align ourselves with our values and we contribute to creating a positive environment, regardless of what's happening around us. Focusing on what we can control also means taking responsibility for our own growth and development. It means committing to our own self-improvement and personal journey, even when the world around us feels chaotic or uncertain. We cannot control every aspect of our lives, but we can control our commitment to growing, learning, and evolving. Whether it's improving our skills, nurturing our physical and mental health, or working on our emotional resilience, we have the ability to invest in ourselves. By focusing on our own development, we create a sense of empowerment and purpose that helps us navigate life's uncertainties with confidence and grace. Furthermore, focusing on what we can control means accepting what we cannot control and letting go of the need to force outcomes. Life will unfold in its own time, and not everything will go according to our plans. But when we focus on our responses, our actions, and our mindset, we can find peace in the process, no matter what happens. The key is not to resist life as it is, but to respond to it with clarity, patience, and wisdom. When we stop trying to control everything and instead focus on what we can influence, we reduce stress and increase our sense of well-being. Lastly, focusing on what we can control is about learning to embrace the present moment. Often, we spend so much time thinking about the past or worrying about the future that we miss the beauty of what is right in front of us. The present moment is all we truly have, and when we choose to focus on it, we create a sense of peace and fulfillment. By focusing on what is within our control in the here and now, whether it's our thoughts, our actions, or our emotions, we anchor ourselves in the present, allowing us to enjoy life to its fullest. The practice of focusing on what we can control is an ongoing journey. It requires mindfulness, self-awareness, and patience. But with every step, we move closer to a life of peace, clarity, and empowerment. We learn to release the burden of things beyond our control and to embrace the freedom that comes with focusing on what truly matters. In doing so, we find a sense of peace and purpose that is unshaken by the external world. Remember, while we cannot control everything, we can always control how we respond. And in that power, we find our true strength. By practicing these 7 powerful lessons, you can release the burdens of unnecessary worry, stress, and attachment. When you stop caring about the things that no longer serve you, you open yourself up to a life of peace, clarity, and freedom. Remember, nothing will bother you anymore when you embrace the present moment, let go of attachments, and live with a compassionate heart. Thank you for watching. If you found these lessons helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wisdom on how to live a peaceful, empowered life.